This is Empress 2020, The Fifth Element. This is part 2 of Trauma Bond. And I ended, well, the recording stopped at 15 minutes, which again, I'm trying to record like in small time so it can load up quicker. But anyway, this is part 2, and the part that ended in part 1 was when I kissed him, and the next day I got sick. And I was like, okay, I believe that was a red flag. So I had made a decision that I wasn't going to kiss him in the mouth anymore, because it wasn't sick is sick, you know what I mean? And I was like, we won't do that again. Anyway, because that happened, it caused me to kind of like dodge him a little bit and become unavailable to him, where it wasn't like he had easy access to me. He knew where I lived, and I didn't have no problem with not answering my door, or answering my phone, because I don't live according to people ringing my doorbell or my phone blowing up. I'm not one of those, ain't nobody call me today. Oh, let me call somebody. I am such a very private person that that's just the way I raised myself. I go out, I enjoy your company or whatever, but when my mind says it's time to go, I'm gone. If I pick up any type of weird or bad vibes, I would not be around you probably ever again, or if I do, it will be with a long handled spoon. I don't hug everyone. I don't speak ill of people. I don't gossip. I'm just a straightforward person. I don't do fake nails. I don't do fake hair. I used to wear wigs. I was born a nappy head baby, and it wasn't until I started getting older that I ended up with the family alopecia. And the women also in my family, not only do we have alopecia, we also have that hairline thing going on. So I just started shaving my hair and keeping it bald. And every time my hair would grow, because I had 3 different kinds of nappy hair, oh my God, my head would hurt. I have headaches. And I noticed something, that me being completely bald really allowed me to be more peaceful with myself, because I can accept myself. And I don't, that was what, in the beginning, I was like, how people gonna think about me, what people gonna say about me. And then first my man was like, well, you could just say you got cancer. And I'm like, no, to thy own self be true. And lying, again, I used to be a professional liar, and then I used to mix the truth and the lie together, because I was getting caught up when I lied all the time, because I couldn't remember what I said. So I said, okay, I'll tell half truth, half lie, but still it was lying. So I just, as I continued growing, I wasn't maturing yet. As I continued to grow, I just said, guess what? I tell half lie, half truth. And coming where I'm coming from, my drug addiction started at an early age. We'll talk more about that, but for right now, I want to keep my focus on the trauma bond, because I finally had got past the first year, and I was kind of weighing things out, like, should I just go ahead and let this go, be rid of this, and as I was, in this stage of contemplating, making choices and making decisions, the weirdest thing happened. And what I mean by the weirdest thing is, we started opening up to each other on a deeper level. he would talk about his mother to me, and I would talk about my mother to him, and he would talk about some of the things that he went through as a kid, and I would talk about some of the things that I went through as a kid. And it was that heartfelt kind of sharing, and for some strange reason, I always attract narcissists, because my last relationship before him, that guy was a narcissist too. I mean, he had it bad, bad, but I can't even say that, because I ain't even got to half of the story with this trauma bond, because he really had it bad, 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 bad. But I didn't know that people make a career out of manipulating people, and not just manipulating them with the thinking, the emotions, the physical, uh, but my trauma bond even was manipulating my energy, and I wasn't even hip onto people energy harvesting off of you, and all these other things. But as time went on, I really was learning some things from my trauma bond relationship. Everything was hunky dory, for the first, couple of years. We didn't argue, we didn't have misunderstandings. It was all about respect with one another. I had met one of his baby mamas. He never talked about the actual first baby mama, the one he went to school with, and who was the mother of his two oldest kids at the time. And I was just observing, looking, learning, watching, and I remember when I first met his son and his daughter, that I could tell that they wasn't used to being around other women, and then too, I can't even say that they weren't used to being around the kind of woman that I am. Because again, like I say, I didn't hide myself. One time they'll come over, I have hair on. Next time they come over, I'll just be straight bald. And kids are funny. You know what I'm saying? And I remember one time I kept them. They attacked me and snatched my wig off, and I was like, I'm gonna sit on y'all. And it felt good to. Because at the time, my son, I have an adult son. Well, I had an adult son at the time, and it just took me back, and they really, uh, allowed me to tap into my motherly side, and uh, he would keep his kids off and on every other weekend or whatever. And I know that some men, they struggle with trying to raise their kids. They let them do whatever they want, give them all the junk they want. But I knew they needed food. You know what I mean? So I had extended my hand out, and I let him know, well, I know you trying to get your little CDs off, and he's a street person, you know what I'm saying? And I had gathered that he, from what he told me from mouth to my ear, was that he had been hustling in the street for like 3 years, selling his, CDs or whatever. But in the beginning, I thought that was cool, and he was making his money, saving his money. But then after being around him for years, I started seeing that he was more high, more drunk, and I was like, wow, but I had sold my own self an illusion that maybe, just maybe, one year, one day, somehow, some way, that maybe we'll marry each other, and we'll have build a life together. And I wasn't thinking at the time, I'm only sharing my illusion of a dream to him. And for real, quiet as kept. And if I really tell the truth, it was like going through one ear and out the other. And I saw, as time was changing. We were growing, really, for real, we were growing apart more than we were growing together. And it was some things, shared with me that I'm not going to repeat, through the kids, but I started becoming eyes wide open and stop selling myself these illusions and dreams of if I could or would or should or maybe or how come, when, and why. And I just started accepting things the way that they were. But things started to become more intense because, he stopped bringing the kids around. He stopped getting, I was getting closed off. I really wasn't, working on my craft or my books or whatever. And, I didn't know that he was actually stealing my energy, and he was stealing my gifts, and he was stealing my time. And, and I didn't notice it then. It took me a while to figure it out, like a year or two later, that every time he came over, I will always feel tired. I will always feel sleepy. That's when he was energy harvesting off of me. He was taking my energy, and I didn't know anything about energy vampires. I knew about incubus and succubus, but we really wasn't sexually active after so many years had came in between us because he had fetishes, and at first I participated in those fetishes because, again, I wasn't laying down with him, I wasn't having sex with him, but at the same token, I'm like, this was around the time that R. Kelly was getting caught up in his little situations, with his fetishes, and all I saw was me and him being in that same kind of situation, and I'm like, guess what? I'm not going down with you. You know what I'm saying? I can stop right now. And the way he kind of helped me force myself to make a decision and make a choice to just go ahead, cut my losses, and walk away. And it seemed like once I did that, my whole life changed. My energy wasn't leaving me. I wasn't feeling tired all the time. I wasn't sleeping all the time. I wasn't feeling isolated. I didn't feel like I was a prisoner in my house, and I was like, what the hell, getting rid of him, and you know what I'm saying, my whole life, my energy, everything, like, just came back, and I think it was the last time that I saw him. No, I hadn't seen him. One of his friends had told me that he had went off to Delaware, I believe. That was the first place that he went. And I was like, what? And I was like, well, I got instantly angry because I'm like, how dare you leave this state and you don't tell me? I worry about you. I'm concerned about you. Quiet as kept, I was really secretly in love with him, and it being my own secret from myself, and then I could always reach out to him on Facebook, and I'm like, where are you? Why you ain't tell me? Da 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 da. And the next thing I know, 3 days he's here. I'm looking him in his face. And then there was another time he went to Atlanta, and then he went to New York, and he was posting all these videos, and I'm sitting up here like he just drinking and drugging his life away. I'm like, I had built this illusion and this fantasy up in my head that we both were going to be rich and famous and married, and we was going to have all these big houses and cars and kids and living the life and traveling and this, that, and the other. And again, it goes back to him stealing my energy, and he was taking my energy to his succubus, incubus, witch of a baby mama. And the life that I was wanting and desiring, he had created it with her off my energy. And it took me, again, some years to find out that this was what was transpiring and that this was what was happening. I mean, I didn't wake. It took me a long time to wake up. And matter of fact, I'm talking about long time, and I just woke up 8 months ago. Back in October of 2021, when I had met someone and come to find out that this person was my divine counterpart who end up turning karmic. And not only was that funny, but him and Trauma Bond were either bros or cousin by marriage, and I found out that they were bisexual and they had been in a relationship with each other, and I think they were married with each other. And I'm sitting up here like I done had sex with both of them. I'm talking about a whole turn of event. You know what I'm saying? Like, where the hell they do this at? How the hell I get involved with all of that? You know, here come that drunken sailor mouth, because I was getting angry. You know, that all of this stuff was transpiring, and I was angry at myself because I was clueless. I didn't have a clue about any of this. You know what I'm saying? Especially not knowing that they knew each other, and you know, the straw that broke the camel back was they was having sex with each other. And I'm like, I had sex with both of them, and coming to find out both of them are down low brothers, cousins, Coven members. I'm like, all this shit just, I mean, it took me for a spin and a loop and a dip, you know. And he just recently, my Trauma Bond partner just recently came through here a few weeks ago, you know. And it was so funny because in a way, you know, because that's what he used to always do, just fucking pop up, you know what I'm saying? And you know, I would think about him like, okay, well, this motherfucker ain't checked in, you know what I mean? But again, it's like when he came the other, you know, a couple weeks ago, I told him I haven't saw you in 4 fucking years. You know what I'm saying? What's really going on? But I really didn't care. You know what I'm saying? But I knew why he was here. He was sent here from God, by God, so he can apologize to me and tell me all the shit that he did to me. And he just played stupid and played dumb, so I just played the stupid and dumb game with him too. I saw the leg monitor on his leg. I just played dumb, like, oh, what's that on your leg? And he was like, oh, you know me, I create my own fashion and style. And you know, I just played it off. I'm like, yeah, you sure do. But in my mind, I was like, get the fuck out of my house, and if you brought any demons in this motherfucker, you're gonna take them out with you. I mean, there go that drunken sailor mouth. But what I said, the funny part was that I had just saged my whole entire apartment. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, that was not strange or weird. It just so happened that, you know, I thank my ancestors and my higher self and my God, you know, and the archangels and, you know, my divine bodyguard and my goons, because they keep me, you know, 10 steps ahead of any and everybody, you know, especially when it comes to hurt, harm, and danger, you know, to my life. You know, because there's a calling on my life, and it's just not any calling. It's a big, great calling, you know, that only I can handle, and that I've been birthed into this world, appointed and anointed, because my God knows that I would get the job done. And so, you know, I had just saged my whole apartment, and guess what? When he walked out that door, I started praying real quick, and I started saging again. And I said, if he tried to leave any kind of entity, curse, or bond, or any object, let me find the object so I could get it out of my house. And the other thing was, you know, if he tried again, leave any kind of curses or entities behind, I saged my apartment again. You know, because I'm really understanding how and why I must keep my energy clean and clear, and how I have to be very protective of who's around me. You know, during the spiritual journey that I've been on, I have really learned a lot of things, you know, within these past 8 months. And all of these things has only helped me to go deeper within myself and love myself even more, you know. And I can't put nothing or anything past no one, nobody, you know. And it's like I'm on a whole nother level of, you know, how much do you really love yourself, you know. But again, I'm writing a book, The Spell That Binds, talking about, you know, all of this, you know, in this spiritual journey. And I feel probably by December I'll have the book completed and published, because I always give myself a time date, and again, like I said, when I met him years ago, I was working on, I had held my first manuscript for over 30 years. So when he took off and went to New York, and I was like, guess what? He's pushing himself. He's, trying to, fulfill his dreams. So in a way, I got really motivated from him, uh, and I was like, you know what? Why I can't push myself and motivate myself? And the next thing I know, I had locked myself up into my apartment for like about 3 months. And within 3 months, when I finally came out of my apartment, I had 5 books. And I put those first 5 books into my local library. And I'm a little like, local celebrity, you know what I'm saying, at my local library, and I've entered, poetry contests with them, and quite a few of us were selected, and, they hung our poetry up, in the library for a week, put it on the library website for a week. I didn't even know I had one till I just popped up one day and went over to the library, and she was like, what, your poetry won? I was like, what? And so I try to keep up with the updates that they have going on at the local library, because I like to participate. Like just a week or two ago, they had exercise. It was called Paint with Pride, and create your own Picasso. And I went over there, participated in that, because I love painting. I'm very multi-talented. And I always wanted to paint, and then I hadn't painted in so while. I was like, how did I start it? How can I get back on the good foot? And it was very, very, very rewarding. And it is always a blessing to meet new people. And especially when you're not judging, and color matter. You just enjoying another person's company. You know what I'm saying? While you both are doing something that you love. I really met a really nice lady. And matter of fact, I met quite a few people. And I also, at the same token, I love taking pictures. I love recording, and videoing. And I ended up, recording the whole event. And I had created a movie slide, and I sent it to the librarian that put the paint with pride little scenario together. And I sent her a link to it, and she watched it, and then she sent it to her director, and they was like, oh my God, I love it. I love her. She has, wonderful energy. And it was like boobop skabang, and that's what I do. You know what I'm saying? I really love to make people smile. I really love to make people feel good. I really love to spread love. Because the world is made from love, because God is love. And when he created this planet, he created it in love. And it's us, we as, a race of people, mankind, that take love for weakness and advantage, and how some of us destroy the beauty that's in the world and that's of the world, and how we try to be dominant, over a race of people, races of people, how we should eat, how we should live. That was not why God created the planet, to be dominated by one man over another man, or one woman over another woman, or just one race over all races. God did not create this planet for that. He created it in love. And again, sometimes I just wish he had just left the animals in control of the world, you know what I'm saying, and let us live in fear, but he reversed the role and allowed man to be dominant over all animals. And again, some animals got more sense than humans, you know what I mean. And one thing for certain, and one thing for sure, you know, the universal language is love. Everybody know, well, I can't say that because I've ran into people that have never smiled before. I've ran into people that have never laughed before. I've ran into people that think life is so darn serious, you know, and I didn't even think that, you know, something like that could possibly exist until, you know, I came face to face with it. So it changed my perception a whole lot, you know. And again, as I continue to go on, you know, on my channel, I'm gonna have a little bit of everything. I'm learning how to read tarot cards. I've created my own cards, and I'm gonna share a lot of my experience, strength, and hope about drug addiction, about suicide, about love, about being abused mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You know, I'm going to even start a book club. You know, I'm going to, you know, gear up a lot of things, you know, for my channel. I'm even going to, I'm in the process of you know, I have my own custom t-shirt business, and, you know, I'm doing some other things too as well that I'm creating and designing. And, you know, just like they used to tell me, you know, let God take the driver's seat and you sit in the passenger seat and just buckle up and just enjoy the ride. Once again, this is Empress 2020, the fifth element. And as we go, you know, you're gonna get to know me more and more, and I'm gonna be sharing more and more. And again, let's bring love back into the equation, because guess what? I don't know who took it out, but for right now, love is the key that opens all the doors. All you need is hope. May God bless you and keep you. And thank you for listening. Don't forget to like, share. They should have a love button. Don't forget to like and share. And I'll talk to you again. Bye.